This is for 7th grade, days 10 through 12 on two-step equations. Two-step equations are called two-step because you have to add or subtract first, and then you have to multiply or divide to isolate your variable. So always, 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 when we solve two-step equations, you're going to add or subtract first. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do all the work on the right hand of my screen, and then just fill in the answers on the actual workbook page. So what this reteach worksheet wants us to do is to describe the steps to solve each equation, and then we're going to actually solve it. So for number 1, we have 4x plus 11 equals 19. So like I just said, we always want to undo the adding or subtracting first. So in this problem, they're adding 11. So our first step is going to subtract 11 from both sides. Once we do that, we're going to undo the multiplication by dividing both sides by 4. And now we can solve. So I'm going to rewrite my problem. So I'm going to subtract 11 from both sides. 19 minus 11 is 8. Divide both sides by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So x equals 2. Number 2, we have negative 3y plus 10 equals negative 14. So step 1 is subtract 10 from both sides. And then again we have multiplication, so we're going to divide both sides by negative 3. So I have negative 3y plus 10 equals negative 14. Subtract 10 from both sides. Now here I have negative 14 minus 10. That's the same as negative 14 plus negative 10, which is negative 24. Now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. Negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 24 divided by 3 equals 8. Number 3, we have r minus 11 divided by 3 equals negative 7. Now in this case, what I'm going to do is, since it's a fraction, I'm going to get rid of the division first. This doesn't happen very often, but in this case, that's what we're going to do to make it a little easier. So step 1 is going to be multiply both sides by 3. And then we are going to add 11 to both sides. So times 3 times 3. So that gives us r minus 11 equals negative 21. I'm going to add 11 to both sides. So negative 21 plus 11, they are unlike signs, so you subtract. 21 minus 11 is 10, and negative 21 has the greater absolute value, so my answer is negative 10. Number 4, we have 5 minus 2p equals positive 11, I'm sorry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this beginning part of my equation. So this would actually be 5 plus negative 2p equals 11. And then I can also rewrite this way as well. And this is the version that we're used to seeing. So in this case, my step 1 is going to be subtract 5 from both sides, and step 2 would be divide by negative 2. So I'm going to subtract 5. 1 minus 5 is negative 4. Now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. P equals positive 2. Number 5, I have 2/3 z plus 1 equals 13. Step 1 is going to be subtract 1 from both sides. Step 2 is, since we have a fraction, and to undo the multiplication is dividing, but when we have a fraction, if we multiply the reciprocal, that's the same thing as dividing by that fraction. So we're going to multiply by 3/2, which is the reciprocal. So I have 2/3 z plus 1 equals 13. Subtract 1 from both sides. 13 minus 1 is 12. So now I'm going to multiply both sides by 3/2. So we can think of this as a fraction of 12/1. So 12 times 3 is 36, and 1 times 2 is 2. 36 divided by 2 is 18. And number 6, we have w minus 17 over 9 equals 2. In this case, again, this is like number 3. We're going to multiply by 9 first, and then we're going to add 17 to both sides. So w minus 17 over 9 equals 2. Oops. Times 9 times 9. W minus 17 equals 18. We are going to add 17. W equals 35. If you need any further explanation on two-step equations, please let me know. Thanks for watching.